When I think about the entire history of animation, no film seems more important to me than Who Framed Roger Rabbit. There are other movies that come to mind, but what was special about Who Framed Roger Rabbit was the timing. You see, the year was 1988, a year when animation was in a much different state than it is today. Back then, animated movies weren't the huge box office hits that they used to be, and cartoon shows were more or less elongated toy commercials. Who Framed Roger Rabbit breathed much needed new life into the industry, and proved the genre could once again be a respectable and profitable medium. It showed that animation didn't need to just be family-friendly kid stuff, it could be enjoyed by adults too. The movie accomplished this in many ways, but in this video I'm going to focus on one main point. It created nostalgia for the golden age of animation, and as a result brought attention back to those animated works and started a second animation boom of its own. To properly understand this, we need a little context. In the late 1960s, television ended any remaining appeal for the theatrical cartoon. Studios could just no longer compete with the changing market. And during those years leading up to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, audiences were no longer as interested in the cartoons of the 30s and 40s.
How quickly we forget.
Reruns of these cartoons did continue to air on Saturday mornings, but the once huge demand for them was no longer there. The Golden Age era produced some of the greatest pieces of animation of all time, and the popularity of Who Framed Roger Rabbit helped bring them back into the spotlight. The creators of the movie were inspired mainly by the animated works of Walt Disney and Warner Brothers, the two biggest animation studios of the time. And through that inspiration, director of animation Richard Williams strove to accomplish three things: create Disney-like animation, have Warner Brother-type characters, and deliver Tex Avery-style humor. Williams had his own style of animation, but you can see this desired aesthetic throughout the entire movie. By channeling the production quality of Disney and capturing the slapstick humor and action of Warner Brothers and Tex Avery, Who Framed Roger Rabbit created an unforgettable homage to the golden age of animation. And as a result of this, the movie brought much deserved recognition to the creators of these cartoons, especially those that worked at Warner Brothers. Robert Zemeckis, the director of the movie, especially loved the works of Bob Clampett and Tex Avery, directors of some of the greatest animated shorts of all time. Both Clampett and Avery were responsible for defining the zany Warner Brothers style that we know today. By emphasizing on gags and action, Clampett's and Avery's cartoons had breakneck pace and utter lunacy. These characteristics were what made Looney Tunes loony and helped cement them into pop culture history. These directors are now recognized as legendary contributors to the animation industry. The nostalgia felt for the Golden Age era also stems from the successful romanticization of Hollywood in 1947. Deciding to make the movie a period piece helped it feel more timeless in order to capture the imagination of both present and future audiences. Zemeckis also felt that establishing the year was necessary in order to draw a distinction between the Golden Age cartoons of the 30s and 40s and the television cartoons that followed. And speaking of animation eras, Who Framed Roger Rabbit spawned an unprecedented demand for animation which started our current era, the modern age of animation. The early frontrunners to this new era were actually the studios who worked on Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Yeah, Touchstone Pictures is a Disney subsidiary, and Amblin Entertainment has teamed up a number of times with Warner Brothers. With this new resurging interest in animation, I believe these studios continue to draw inspiration from their animated works of the Golden Age. The newly formed TV block, the Disney Afternoon, had shows like DuckTales, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, Tailspin, and Darkwing Duck. Warner Brothers had Tiny Toon Adventures, Tasmania, Animaniacs, and the Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries. Don't they all feel a little reminiscent of their Golden Age counterparts? In addition to the cartoons from Warner Brothers and the Disney Afternoon, the immediate after effects from this movie are astounding. Disney animated features became blockbuster hits for the first time in decades, starting with The Little Mermaid in 1989. Those movies from the 90s are now recognized as the Disney Renaissance. Also in 1989, The Simpsons became the first successful primetime animated television show since the 1960s. Cable television animation entered the scene with channels like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon. Cartoon Network was founded in 1992, and Nickelodeon Animation Studios was founded in 1990. Space Jam, the pairing of classic Looney Tune characters and NBA superstar Michael Jordan, was made possible because of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I could keep giving example after example, all the way up to the present day, but my point is made. Who Framed Roger Rabbit was a landmark movie in the animation industry, and our current animated shows, our current animated movies, all of it has Who Framed Roger Rabbit to thank for it. If you like this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I make historically inspired video essays about movies, television, and animation. So if that sounds like your kind of thing, consider subscribing to see more of this kind of content. If you haven't seen it, be sure to watch my last video where I explain all the history you learn from Back to the Future. I'm the Jaunty Professor, thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.